I thought this car was finished. It was rebuilt, listed, buyer found, and they even paid for the MOT themselves. But then this happened. Let me take you back to how we got here. When it arrived, the whole front end was missing, and clearly, that's not normal. Right now, I don't even know where the front end of this car is. It might be in the boot, it might not. The interior, though, is looking pretty clean. But the dash is fully lit up. There's so many lights. Oh. Now, that could be because the front end is missing, but I am worried that there could be a serious problem with this car. I bought this car from auction, and once it was delivered, I didn't want to waste any time getting to work. So I started unwrapping the bonnet to see if there's any surprises hiding underneath. Now, before I spend a single pound on parts, I really need to figure out exactly what condition this car is in. But the engine bay actually looks pretty clean. We've got so much missing. Airbox, radiator, AC condenser, crash bar, slam panel, the radiator cowling, front bumper, headlights, fog lights. I mean, there's so many electrical wires as well. What have I done? But what I'm really curious about is, do we have any parts in the boot? So let's go check that out. Okay, here we go. This is a moment of truth. Boot, no good. Yeah, nothing really here that helps. Well, we've got one little cover, so that's a start. But since we're starting from scratch, I really need to look over the whole car just to make sure that there's no serious problems before we start buying parts. Now, I bought this car cheap, but it's only really going to be a bargain if I can get this rebuilt under a very tight budget. I think first things first, let's go scan the car and see what codes we're dealing with. So unsurprisingly, there are a lot of faults. The biggest concern is obviously there's quite a few in the engine section, but you got parking sensors, body electrical, driver support, so I think that's all because the front end is missing. But if we take a look at the engine, so MAF sensor, turbocharger under boost, okay. Radiator fan, yeah, that's missing. MAF sensor is missing. All right, okay, that's not looking too bad. Right, so I scanned the car. Luckily, it's not as bad as I thought. I think it's just because the whole front end is missing, so the car does not like it. But I found something else, which is quite handy. So we didn't walk away, or we didn't buy the car with no parts. Did find a nice little box of all sorts of random bolts.
Yay!
That's gonna be fun to try and figure out what goes where. All right, so when I was in the car earlier, I accidentally turned the car on. So I know the engine at least cranks over. It does start, but I think that one of the major things we need to check is there any oil in this engine? Now, my theory that this car was flooded is dwindling away. I think, because in a flooded car, engine should be hydrolocked. Luckily, it turns over and it does start, so that's a good sign. But we do need to check to see if there is any oil. And that's looking pretty good. If you can make that out, yeah, it's got quite a bit. Next thing I also want to see, let's get this cap off. Oh gosh, that's tight. I remember seeing something online. I think it was Gearhead Brian, if you guys know him. Let me grab a tool. So I haven't tried this before, so hopefully it works. If it does, full credit to him. But if you have a oil cap that's quite stuck, just grab a pair of pliers or something with a rubber grip. Just pop it on top, and that should, hopefully... There we go. Okay. Thanks, Gearhead Brian. Right. Just going to open this up. Let's give it... Looks alright. Give it a sniff. I think it smells like engine oil. Doesn't smell like fuel. That's good. It's not milky as well, so that's a good sign. It looks like just plain oil. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to jack up the car, put it on all the jack stands. I did get stung a little bit last time on the last car. I need to inspect the wheels, suspension, everything, undercarriage. So let's get the car up on its stands and take a look underneath. So you guys have seen me do this plenty of times on this channel, jacking cars up, taking off the wheels. And with the beauty of video editing, so the car's up on all the axle stands. That wasn't too hard. Next up, let's take these tires off and then take a look around. So I managed to take the undercarriage off. These are the skid plates. There's two of them. One was a bit of a headache, but I'll tell you why. So I got one over there, and then on the car itself. So as I was taking this off, there's one bolt just there that's spinning, and then right nearby where the jack is, the other bolt there snapped. So that's nice, real nice. But it's okay. The main thing was just to check the undercarriage, make sure there's no oil leaks or anything like that. So let's take a look. When I was removing the under tray of the car, as I said earlier, I managed to snap a bolt, unfortunately. Now, it's not the first time that's happened. I have snapped bolts before, but I've never really taken them off before myself. So I got a little kit, which hopefully should help. Yeah, so I'm going to use some of those drill bits to try and drill a hole through, and then use an extractor bolt to try and get that bolt out. It's not a big deal, but I figure this is a good time to learn, make sure I know how to do this, because I'm sure this is not going to be the last time. The snap bolt is just in there. It's going to be a bit hard to see or film. There we go. Okay, well, that hasn't worked at all. I was drilling it and nothing was happening. So I think I'm going to leave it for now. It's not a big deal. It's just holding up this plastic under tray. But there's a lot of other clips as well, so we'll put a pin on that for now. Now, luckily, it's all looking pretty clean under here. Nice and dry. I mean, it's filthy, but at least no oil leaks. Doesn't look like there's anything concerning. So the subframes don't look corroded or too rusty. But I also found something else. Let me show you. So I think I found the first evidence of damage. So I think this car has been possibly in a front-end collision. This is the sensor. I think it's for like the cruise control, adaptive cruise control, and the bracket that it sits on, which is here, does look like it has been sheared off a little bit there. There are a few little broken pieces of plastic. Looks like maybe from the front bumper. I've seen another one over here as well. It very well could be that it did have a front end collision, but hopefully that sensor is still working, because I imagine those are pretty expensive to replace. I think it probably will need calibrating as well, but fingers crossed, that's okay. So I think we've done the inspection of the car. Next up, let's start rebuilding this thing. So I managed to pick up a whole rad pack, crash bar, things like an upper radiator support, and intercooler. I did get the whole assembly from, I think it was a 1 liter Civic, but I have checked the part numbers. Quite a lot of them are interchangeable, but we'll double check again. But fingers crossed, if it all works out, then it'll be great, because this whole assembly, new from Honda, is probably about £3,000 or so. So we made some good savings there. But now is the tedious process of having to clean each and every single one of those plugs before we can put this thing back on. So let's get to it. I thought it would be a good idea to take apart the second-hand rad pack I picked up, just to make sure that I can inspect all the components, but also to figure out how this car goes back together, as I wasn't the one who took it apart. So I start by removing the wiring harness which feeds the radiator, the AC condenser, sensors and horn, and take a note of how it routes on the car. Then after unscrewing a couple of bolts, I'm able to separate the radiator from the slam panel and set it aside. Now that I've stripped off the rad pack, had a look at the intercooler, radiator, AC condenser, all that stuff, I have a bit of an idea of how it's going to go back together. I'm going to offer up the slam panel to the car just to make sure that that fits, because if that doesn't fit, then the other things aren't going to fit as well. So now's the moment of truth. I'm praying this second-hand rad pack was worth buying. I had to drive over 10 hours to get it here, so I'm crossing all my fingers and toes. So I offer it up to the car, and I'm hoping that I can secure it with the 2 bolts at the top, and all the other bolt holes line up. Yeah, this lines up. Oh, this is what I was most worried about, because if this slam panel didn't fit, then there would be no point putting the radiator, AC condenser, any of that stuff on. But the two main bolts at the top, those are in place, and all the other bolts, I think so, like crash bar would sit in here as well, and those are all lining up. Yeah, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Yes. Okay, good. Let's keep going. Now we can start really rebuilding this thing. Yes. Now after that first hurdle, I'm breathing a bit easier, but there's still so much to do. I start by putting the radiator into the slam panel, and I know it fits as I just took it out. But once in place, I start connecting the bottom radiator hose and use a bit of silicone spray to slide the hose on. Alright, managed to do it. Next step, I don't know. Just work our way from the bottom up, I guess. I feel like we're making really good progress here, and if you think so too, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. But next up is the AC condenser. I use the original AC lines that have been carefully wrapped with a glove and secure it in with a bolt so it doesn't leak. Hey mate!
Oh, busy.
Busy!
Busy YouTube.
Yeah, busy you too.
So tonight running, eh?
No, not quite. There's two main things. So even though I got a intercooler, it has this pipe, but it's missing on one side. Number two, there's no airbox, which is not so bad.
That's not bad.
That's not too bad. Number three, I have no coolant, so I need to actually buy the coolant. I haven't done that bit yet, but we're getting there. The only problem is I have no idea where these bolts go. So
That is trouble always. Because you do screw them, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not. Yeah.
I have the manual on the computer, but it's like 12,000 pages, man. I don't know. That's why I've left all of these out for now, because I figured let me just put this in. This can only go in one way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be another headache. All right, see you, bro. Okay, so those sensors are in. Now, I'm not really sure exactly what all these plugs are. I think, who knows. Headlights are up here. Don't know what these two are. Oh, horn. Maybe. Yeah. So next up, I'm just gonna put some bolts through the slam panel into the sort of reinforcement bar. So there's two bolts. There's one down there and the other one just over there. Just get them nice and snug. Alright, now that I've put on the AC condenser, radiator, the slam panels on as well, I'm going to put the front crash bar, because I think that'll help mount whatever's left onto the car. So let's do that next. Let's fit this crash bar. Hopefully it lines up. Look at that, fits like a glove. Now, I've only just put one bolt in, got 3 more to go on each side, but all those holes are lining up pretty spot on. This side, oh, where's the other two? Oh, just behind those connectors. That's good. So I think this unit was paid off. Getting this used rad pack and slam panel. So let's keep bolting everything up. We're losing a bit of sunlight, so I'll crack on as quick as I can. So in the meantime, while I try and figure out how to secure this radiator housing, well, the radiator and AC condenser properly, I want to make some more progress, so I'm just gonna fit the intercooler, which I've got right here. Now the issue is there is tubing, it's enough on this side, but I am missing like a U-pipe bend on the other side, so still can't run the car, unfortunately. I don't think we'll be able to make it today, but at least I'm just going to marry this up and get it put into the right place. Oh, let's take one. So this side's all connected up, the intercooler, but on the other side, hopefully you can see it. Oh, maybe not. Oh, right, so just there where that glove is, just covering the lower part of the pipe, I need a connector pipe from there all the way to this one. So as I was going through my box of bolts, I managed to find what I think are the radiator brackets to hold it in place. I think it's these. So I'm going to put it onto the car because I'm hoping, if that's the case, because remember, this is way too wobbly. It needs something to secure it. I think it should be these. Oh, yes. Yes, I think those are exactly it. Right, now I just need to find the bolts to put it into here, because that should make things a lot more secure. That's really helpful because I actually was planning on buying some brackets as well. So luckily I don't need to do that. So let me find some bolts. Everything is scattered everywhere. I'm not sure. It might be these. Could be these. I don't know. I'll cross-check, sort of cross-reference it with the manual as well, and just to see, because there's just so much crap everywhere. I've really lucked out because I did manage to find the bolts. And this radiator, nice and secure. That's a lot better. So that should bolt up just there. There we go. Nice and secure. Looking good. Looking good. So I think I've done as much as I can for today, because I've used all the parts that I've got. Now I'm going to tell you how much I spent on this car. For this, I paid £4,100, and I've given myself the very tight budget of £3,000 to get this car fixed. Now I've already paid some money to get the rad pack, so the whole rad pack slam panel, that was 600 quid. So that leaves me about £2,500 left of the budget to get this car back on the road. Okay, I just realized I made a massive mistake. It shouldn't be catastrophic. It could have been. This car isn't rebuilt yet. On the last video, I did fit the radiator, AC condenser, intercooler in the crash bar, and there is a good reason for that, because on this video, I need to service this car to see how this engine actually behaves. Because if there's any issues with it, then there's no point continuing to rebuild the front end, because we have to tackle those issues first. So let's get the service done. I bought this car from auction without really knowing what condition it was in. When it arrived, the entire front end was missing, and I still don't fully know why. It could have been crashed, it could have been stripped, but either way, there's only one thing that really matters. I need to know whether this engine is actually healthy. In the last video, I built up the front end, which got me close, but not close enough to starting it properly. Before I turn the key, there are a few things that absolutely need doing first. I picked up a brand new to me airbox, and when I took it apart, it was full of oil. It might have come from a car with a blown turbo, and I'm really hoping mine isn't. But before I went anywhere near this engine, I cleaned it properly and bolted it in place. Next up was a basic service. A new oil filter is going in, and then it was time to drain the engine oil. Or at least, that was the plan. You can now see me cracking the drain plug, and straight away something doesn't feel right. The oil looks way too clean. Maybe it's just recently been serviced, or maybe something else is going on.
You can see it's looking very clear.
I carry on, refill the engine with the correct amount of oil, and move on to the coolant. So now that I've serviced the engine, I've changed the engine oil and the filter, I'm gonna work on the coolant now. So I'm just gonna top up some coolant, crank the car over, well, hopefully it starts, and it doesn't sound awful. This car arrived completely dry, so before I let it run properly, I need to fill and bleed the cooling system, squeezing the upper hose to try and push any trapped air out.
So you can just see the level of coolant just right by there. So I'm gonna squeeze the radiator hose. You should see the bubbles coming out.
Once I fill up as much coolant as I can, I turn the key and it starts.
There we go, so engine's running. Just need to top up the coolant. Doesn't look like any leaks.
At this point, I'm just letting it come up to temperature, topping up coolant and watching everything closely. So far, so good.
Right, so before we top up the coolant and bleed the system, I've got the final piece of the puzzle. This is a pipe for the intercooler, so that should complete the system and seal everything up, just so then we can get the car running, start it over, and then also bring it up to temperature so we can bleed the coolant. So let's pop this one on.
But when the intercooler pipe finally arrives and I get back under the car, I realize what I've actually done, and it's a big mistake.
Okay, I just realized I made a massive mistake. It shouldn't be catastrophic. It could have been. This is the sump that I opened to drain for the engine oil. Now I've just realized it should have been this one here. So I think what I drained was the transmission fluid. Now luckily this car hasn't been put into gear, so it hasn't been moving since I did this. But I think I added way too much engine oil into the car. So okay, I think to resolve this is what we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to drain the engine oil again. Well, not again. I mean, drain the engine oil because I thought I had drained it. So I think there's twice the amount of engine oil in the car. So you have to drain the engine oil and put the right amount of oil into the engine. The transmission, I wasn't planning on doing a transmission service, but I guess I'm going to, because this was the transmission fluid that came out through this bung here, whereas the engine oil is this one here. So gonna drain the engine oil and then figure out how to top up the transmission fluid, because there's nothing in this box now. It's been completely drained. And that's probably why I was quite surprised why it was so clean. So I need to go pick up some more engine oil, pick up some transmission fluid, figure out how to fill the transmission fluid before we crank this car over. Okay. Good thing I caught this now, actually.
I hadn't drained the engine oil at all. I drained the transmission. For a moment, that's a horrible feeling, because that could have been a massive disaster. But the important thing is this: the car hadn't been driven and I hadn't selected a gear, and I caught it early. I stop, I go out to get the correct fluid, drain the engine oil properly.
So this is a 10-liter bucket and we are just about the 7-liter mark. So there's definitely too much there.
Refill it with the right amount and then top up the transmission, which means removing the airbox again just to reach the fill hole.
Right, now that I have the airbox out, I need to try and figure out exactly where, because this is the transmission, to fill it in. Before I top up the transmission fluid, I need to get under the car to remove the sort of check bolt, just so we can make sure that we're not excessively putting too much fluid in. So let me show you what that looks like. I think it's a 12mm bolt.
This is the check bolt that sets the level. Back up top, I pull out the rubber bung and fill it with the fluid until it starts dripping from underneath.
There you go. Draining from the check bolt. So once that sort of drains one drop at a time, that's ready to be closed. So I've topped up the transmission fluid, closed the bung underneath as well. All right, so today didn't really go as planned. There's a few minor hiccups, but I think we didn't manage to cause any serious trouble. So I think next up, I can finally get back to what I was doing. I'm racing against daylight though, so I might have to come back tomorrow. But next up, just put all the airbox back,
tidy everything up, and then I'm going to go back underneath and fit the intercooler pipe, so then we can, you know, top it with coolant and bleed the system. We've done a transmission service, so we'll be changing through the gears as well, just make sure everything is running smoothly. All right, let's crack on. Let's keep going. So I put the airbox back in place, and in a second you'll see why that was the wrong move. This day really isn't going to plan. Okay, now that that bit's done, let's go pop on that intercooler pipe so we can finally get this car running. Today is not going as planned. Okay, to put in the intercooler pipe, obviously, yeah, maybe I should have waited before, you know, putting the whole rat pack sort of onto the car. It's very tight squeeze, so I think the easiest way is to take the airbox off again, because that'll give me good access to it. So probably should have done that before I put the airbags back on, but it's fairly easy to take off, so I'm just going to do that. All right, progress update. Charge cooler pipe is on now, and it's linked up to the intercooler down here as well. So intercooler system is all intact. Just going to put the airbox on, and then we can finally start putting in some coolant. Okay. There's so many lights on the dash, but we won't think about that just yet. I'm also gonna just check underneath. No leaks so far. All right, let's start topping up some coolant. With the engine now running, I carry on bleeding the cooling system and topping up the expansion tank as it warms up. And while it's there, I triple check the engine oil level just to be absolutely sure it's where it should be. So I've been topping up some coolant into this reservoir. Just going to show you inside. Doesn't look like it's been overheating. I think it's almost up to temp. That's the gauge just there. So about halfway, which is kind of where we want to be. So it doesn't look like it's overheating. I'm going to keep an eye on the coolant while it keeps running, but there's something, this next part I'm really excited about. Let me show you what I picked up. It is nighttime, but for the next thing it's okay, because what I got in here are some brand new headlights. I'm going to fit these onto the car, and I should be able to lighten up the sky with this. Let me plug these in. I think these are LED headlights. There are some brackets that are still, I'm still waiting for, but I should be able to at least plug them in and make sure that they work. I was really excited to fit these headlights. It feels like such a big step forward in this rebuild, but there's still a chance they don't work, so I'm definitely holding my breath. They're simple to fit, just a few connectors and bolts, and honestly, I'm so happy with the way they look. Alright, you guys can see probably before I can. Oh, looks like they're working. Full beams. Yeah. Let's see what they look like. Oh, they look cool. Beautiful. Beautiful. Ah, oh, that's a result. Look at that. Oh, it's starting to look like a car again. I guess technically now I could drive it. Actually, it has an MOT and it's been taxed as well. I mean, it just needs some wheels, but result. This is good. A full service wouldn't be complete without changing the cabin filter, and I'm so glad that I did, because this one is disgusting. Luckily, it's an easy job. Just drop the glove box, pop the cover off, and swap it for a new one. Right, so now that I've got the car up and running, and I've plugged in a lot more to the front end, so headlights, a couple of the sensors, let's plug in the diagnostic tool and see if we can clear off quite a few of these codes. The ADAS sensor, which sits right there, so that will need calibration, so I do expect a few more sort of lights to still be on. But we've got, you know, like airflow temperature sensor, headlights, airbox is all in, so we should hopefully be able to clear quite a few codes. We're still getting quite a few lights on the dash. It's up like a Christmas tree. Okay, we're still coming up with a few faults. Let's check out engine. Fuel system too lean. It's a temporary code. So that's quite reassuring actually. So when we scan the car, there isn't too many things that are coming up. There's still a few bits that I need to plug in. So it's still missing a front bumper, parking sensors, fog lights. Need to get aircon regas and the ADAS calibration as well. Hopefully that should clear everything. Now I did put on accidentally service the transmission, but I ran out of daylight, so I didn't actually switch to the gears. So I'm just going to do that now. It's still up on the stands. The car is sort of slowly warming up, so I'm just going to shift through the gears, make sure that that transmission fluid is getting to all the areas it needs to get to. Foot on the brake. Okay, I think the wheels are spinning. I went to the back first and I was like, oh no, they're not spinning. I forgot it's a front wheel drive car. Good. Oh, that's not good. Why is only one side spinning? Right, let's get this out of drive. Unless it's just sort of corroded, they should both be spinning. Unless because it's like the rust. So that side's spinning. Why is this not moving? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm a bit worried about that. I hope I haven't like broken a drive shaft. Right, I'll press on the brake to stop it. I'm gonna put it back into drive again. There was a bit of a thud. Not really sure what that was. Foot on the brake. Put it into drive. Release the parking brake. I forgot to do that last time. But parking brake's at the rear. Okay, I'm releasing the brake. Please, 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 let them both be spinning. Yes! Oh, okay. Okay. Whew. Oh, that was scary. At least I haven't snapped the drive shaft for some reason. Okay, alright, that's fine. I think we got enough fluid going through the transmission. Oh, man. Whew. Boy. With that thud, I honestly thought I'd snapped a drive shaft, but I mean, it's up on the stands and there's no wheels on it, so it's not really holding much load. But that's a relief. It might have just been maybe a bit of rust because it's been sat out for a while and, you know, it's been raining. But good. So now that I think we managed to do most of the mechanical work that we need to, so servicing the car, including the transmission, fitting the airbox, the car is running, drive shaft doesn't seem to be impaired as well, which is a good sign. We still need to take it for a proper drive to see, but that's going to be on the next video. This is the first time this Civic is about to move since I rebuilt it, and I have no idea what's about to happen. Since I got this car a few weeks ago, it's lived on axle stands. Now, in the last videos, we managed to get the engine up and running, the cooling system is sorted, but really all that's left is just fitting the front end. Now, I'm not going to let a little bit of rain stop me because I'm so excited to show you guys what I just had delivered last night. So I bought a brand new bumper to put onto this car. So let's get this all unpackaged, build it up, and hopefully it actually fits up. So these bumpers come in 3 parts. So we have the main bumper itself. Behind here is like the lower grille and sort of splash shield. And at the front is the upper grille with like has the Honda logo on it. Now I was really excited to get these bumpers delivered because I think this is really going to change the look of the car. Obviously it's been up on axle stands for so long and I was really looking forward to getting this fitted so then it actually starts looking like a car again. Now I bought all these parts new from eBay and I have to say I was actually really surprised at the good quality of it. So I think this is the upper part of the bumper. So this should be new as well. There we go, nice gloss black. And there we go. So this should sit at the bottom part of the bumper, just on top of that. To complete the front bumper, I've also picked myself up some fog light pieces of trim, surrounds, and some fog lights as well in those boxes. So let's open everything up and let's start rebuilding this. So I first started with the fog lights, and those just need a couple of screws to get them in. I've just realized something. So on these fog light covers, there should be, this one's got some space in between, which should be for the ADAS sensor, which sits in the bottom left, but this is for the right. And on the left hand side one, it's completely blacked out. Now it's definitely not upside down, because the fog light is meant to sit at the bottom. So this is for the wrong side of the car. So even though I knew that it was the wrong fog light covers for the car, I was just way too eager to get this fitted because I just wanted to get it onto the car so that I could actually start driving it. I did quite enjoy, the look of them. I think they look pretty good. But those gaps there, that's meant to be on the other side for the ADAS sensor. I just fitted it in place, but I still bought some new fog light covers, but I'm just waiting for those to arrive. But I still just crack on fitting the rest of the bumper. Now, because these are made out of plastic, like an ABS plastic, they were quite hard to get them fitting in all the right slots. So these were from 2 different manufacturers, but I eventually managed to get it, and it's starting to come along. And the last piece of the puzzle was the gloss black grille, which I'm fitting now. And I think that really ties in well with the rest of the bumper. I'm also really glad I opted for the blacked out Honda badge because I think it looks so cool. Alright, so next step in building this bumper is the fog light grills. Now I've opted for a slightly different one because the radar sensor for the adaptive cruise control sits behind the fog light, and these little panels here, you can actually remove them. So when it comes to calibrating, if there are any issues, you can take it off and then maybe replace it with like a mesh or something. So these are the new fog light grills that I got to replace the old ones because of the ADAS sensor. And this is actually from the facelift model, so I think it looks really good. But let me know in the comment section below which ones you prefer. After painstakingly building this front bumper, it's time to get this fitted onto the car. So let's crack on and let's get this done. But before I fit the bumper, I needed to put in the side indicator light, which was missing, which I didn't realize while I was building the bumper. This was quite easy, just connecting the light and slotting it in place. Next up, just offering up the bumper, just trying to work from one side to the other. Then I use a plastic push clip at the top just to make sure the bumper doesn't fall. And then just work my way side to side to get it to fit. Now the dry fit's actually quite reasonable. Obviously it's still poking out quite a bit, but it's actually marrying up pretty nicely. So I'm just taking my time, just going side to side, but it is fitting actually quite nicely. So far the dry fit seems to be in a reasonable place. Got quite a few clips here. Those have all been pushed in. Still a little bit of a gap, but that's fine. We'll be able to tie that up. Gaps around are okay. Bunch of clips at the top. There's a few bolts underneath. And this side as well, all the clips are in. Let's keep building this. So next up, I'm just putting in the screws holding the arch lining. And then some more plastic trim pieces over the headlights, which I'm just pushing into place, which I think is really making this car stand out. And then just doing the same on the other side. Next up, I was just putting in the weather stripping and then the radiator cover on top, and those are just bolt in with some plastic push clips. And now the bumper's complete. I'm really well impressed with the body lines. They're all fitting really well. And before I can take it on a first drive, the most important part is getting a license plate put on. Now we can take this car out for its first proper drive. So far this car is doing really well. It's definitely quite a smooth ride. So this is a 2018 Honda Civic. So this is the 10th generation of Civics, and this comes with a 1.5 liter VTEC engine. So I think that's about 184 brake horsepower for stock, with about 220 or 240 newton meters of torque. And this car itself actually comes with the automatic CVT transmission. And so far, I mean, I've only done, a couple of gears. It is transitioning very, very smoothly. It actually comes with paddle shifters too. So I'm gonna pop it into sport mode, and then
use the paddle shifters and see how smoothly it actually shifts through the gears. Just stuck behind a few cyclists. So don't want to run them over, but here we go. All right, it moves all right, you know. I mean, 184 horsepower is definitely not, it's nothing really to write home about. It's not a tremendous amount of power, but as a daily driver, so far, this car is actually really smooth. All right, let's try the paddle shifters. Fourth. Oh! Oh, that's well smooth. Oh, that shifts like butter. That's all right. That's all right, you know? Now, the good thing I've noticed as well is I can't see any warning lights, which is a really good sign. I was a bit worried about that LCAS sensor, so the lane keep assist, because there was a warning for that. I did think maybe that would need calibration. Now, initially, the rat pack that I got came with a sensor, and so I just bolted the rat pack to it. But I thought to myself, in case it might need calibration or if it's coded to the VIN of the car, I put back the original one. And there's no lights yet, but I'm gonna turn it on and see if it actually works. Because if it works and there's no lights, then I've saved probably a few $100 because I won't need to get it calibrated. Right, need to try and figure out how it works. I think press main. Oh, it's green. That's good. Then set, possibly. Oh yeah. Then you can choose your speed. So let's say 70. And then it also has, oh, there's a button with a steering wheel. So I think that's the lane keep assist. Right, let's press that and let's see what happens. Let's see if it keeps it in the lanes. All right, we're drifting a bit. But, oh, it's veering back into the middle. So it works. Look at that, it works. Oh yeah, okay. It's telling me to put my hands back on the wheel. Oh, that's brilliant though. And I think it's the radar as well. It's keeping an eye on the car in front because that's slowing down, and so are we. So we're down, even though it's set at 70, we're doing about 55 now, coming up to a roundabout. Oh, that's cool. All right, let's turn that off. Because where's the joy in driving if you're not actually doing it yourself? But at least it works. At least it works. So that means that we don't need calibrating this sensor. So I've managed to save a bit of money there. And I guess the other bonus thing I just realized is the spare sensor that I have, I could just sell it and then hopefully get a little bit of money back for that too. Because I can't imagine they're quite cheap. This is a nice car. I do like it. Maybe I'll get a Type R next. Actually, no, maybe not next. But Type R, I would definitely like to drive that one. I think those come about 350 horsepower as well, so they're probably, you know, almost twice as fast as this. But yeah, this is a good first drive. We're not out of the woods yet, because when I get back, we need to scan the car again just to see if there's any fault codes that are coming up. I expect there might be one or two, but at least the dash is clear with no warning lights. So that's a very good sign. That's a good start. This is the sport trim as well, so you probably can't make it out so much on camera, but it's got a pretty good exhaust note. It's nothing really crazy, but at least you can hear it. And even, you know, for a 1.5 liter, I think it's a 4-cylinder engine. It's reasonable. It's reasonable. There's definitely mods you can do to make the exhaust a lot louder, which I don't know. If I keep the car, I definitely would be doing. But I think I've got my eye on maybe something else for the next one. So you're gonna have to subscribe though, so that you don't miss out on future projects. So hit that subscribe button down below. You know, for a first drive, I think that was a great success. But let's scan the car first, and let's just make sure there's no other lingering problems.
Now, I really wasn't too sure what to expect after driving this car and scanning it again. But as the scans are coming through, I'm actually really relieved because so far it's actually looking really positive.
Look at that. Only faults is the parking sensor. So there we have it. Scanned the car. Didn't really get any serious faults. It's just the parking sensors, but we haven't put those on the car yet, so I'm really pleased. I think that was a very successful first drive. All that's left really is this car is booked to go to the body shop to get the front bumper painted, and this rebuild is almost complete.
So this Civic finally drives. It works, but if the paint doesn't match, then this rebuild is going to look so cheap. For the most part, this car actually drives really well. But I have noticed just a few little niggly problems that we need to try and get sorted so we can get this car absolutely perfect. Let's get to it. So just a few weeks ago, this is what this car was looking like. When I picked it up from auction, the whole front end was missing, and I really didn't know why. So I gradually started rebuilding it bit by bit, piece by piece, and we even managed to get it started. Then I just needed to fit the bumper and start driving this car. So while I've been driving, I have noticed just a couple of the issues. So the first thing, the rear window demister doesn't seem to be working. So when I press the demister button, so here on the front, that's that one there, you can see that it is for the rear window and the mirrors as well. So when I press it, it does turn on, and it does demist both windows on the front, but I have noticed that the rear window, it just doesn't demist at all. So we need to try and figure out why that's, what the issue is. Hopefully it's just maybe a blown fuse and we could just replace that. But if not, then we might have to take off some trim at the back and figure out what's going on. I'm hoping it's not a broken wire somewhere between the car where we have to dismantle a lot of things. But it's just, especially in winter, it's just a bit annoying that it doesn't work. So we need to try and figure out why. And then the next issue is, you may have caught it already on camera, but this driver's seat squeaks so much. It's so annoying. And so I'm going to take off the back of the seat as well, and then just have a look to see if it might just need a little bit of grease or WD-40. Because that is, no, I can't live with that. So, but let's sort out the demister first, and then crack on with the squeaky seat. So first step was to check the fuses, so I went into the engine bay, and I was really surprised with what I saw. That's what it looks like. I've never seen a fuse like this before. I believe it is this one here, but that doesn't look blown at all. So luckily the fuse seems to be working, so next up was to check the relay. I'm using a multimeter, and honestly, I'm not really sure exactly what I'm checking, but I'm just poking and prodding, and I'm seeing some numbers, so I think they're okay. Okay, so it's not the fuses, and it's not the relay. Next thing is, hopefully it's not a broken wire somewhere between from here all the way to the back of the car. But let's remove some of the trim in the boot, and then have a look at the connection on the demisters themselves, just to see if there's any problems there. So let's do that now. I've also inspected all the grid lines, so I think like the copper grid lines that go across the screen, and there doesn't seem to be any breaks or any cracks in them. They all seem to be intact as well. So let's pull off the trim on the boot, and then fingers crossed we can try and figure out what the problem is. Aha! I think we found it. Now, if we have a look on this side, you can see that looks like it's connected onto the grids. And that's quite stable. But if we have a look on the other side, I think we found the problem. That has come off from there. I think we need to get some kind of adhesive. It'd probably be a special type of adhesive. See, I don't think you can solder onto glass. You'd probably crack it with the heat. So let's get some adhesive and try and get this metal tab connected back onto there. So I managed to find some Permatex rear window defogger. Now I think this is some kind of electrical conductive adhesive. So hopefully this should do the trick. So I'm just mixing it up properly, just getting it all mixed up. And then just giving the tab and the screen a good clean before applying the Permatex onto it. And I just secure it with a trusty bit of duct tape just so it doesn't move. And then next up it's onto the seat. So with the help of a good buddy of mine, I managed to find exactly where the squeak was coming from. So we just put some foam in there, just between the plastic and metal bar, and then just tying it up with a zip tie. So hopefully that should do the trick. There we go. So managed to put a little bit of foam sort of between some of the plastic and metal, because I think that's where the squeak was coming from. And no noise. So really pleased, because it's just so annoying. I mean, I'm sure you guys know as well, if there's squeaks when you're driving, it's just, that's the only thing you can hear. But I'm really glad that we managed to get that sorted. So let's move on to the next thing. Because the whole front end was missing, I had to rebuild everything, including the AC condenser, so there was no gas in the car at all. So I popped over to my local Honda because they were actually the cheapest place to do the AC regas. And while I was waiting, I also took a look at some of the newer Civics they have. But in no time, the car was done, ready to pick up, and I was so pleased to see that they actually inspected the car too. And it's all green. Now granted, this is not a very detailed inspection, but at least this is a good start. Right, so we're getting really close to finishing up this car. There's just a couple of things that are left. But the main thing for today is we need to get this bumper off to get it off to the body shop. So let's take this bumper back off and get it to the body shop. Let's go. So I need to strip the bumper off again to get it sent over to the body shop to have it painted. So then this front end finally starts looking like a full car again. So it just involves taking off the radiator cover, some weather stripping, and then the headlight tabs. Then I'll move on to the wheel arches just to prime apart, just to release the bumper, and not forgetting some of the bolts in the undercarriage. Just working from one side to the other and just using a screwdriver to unclip all the clips so then this bumper can come off. Okay, so I think the bumper is ready to come off. Managed to unplug everything, the fog lights, all the clips. There's just one little plastic clip holding it in so it doesn't fall. I've got my trusty little stool to set it on. So let's get this off. Now that the bumper's off, let's get it loaded in the car. Bumper's all loaded up in the good old C-Class. Next step, and the reason why I took one of the tires off is we're going to be removing the fender or the wing. And the reason why that the body shop has a panel to color match. And I could take off the gas cap or fuel filler cap, but it's so far back to the car, just in case there's any imperfections. I figured the wing, because it sits right next to the front bumper, that should be able to allow them to do a really good color match. And the reason why I've chosen this specific, as you may have noticed, obviously there's a little dent just there. So we're going to take this wing off and then take that over to the body shop as well, so that can be repaired and color matched, and then hopefully in a couple of days I'll be able to go back and pick it up. So let's take the wing off. So I'm not 100% sure exactly how this comes off, but I have seen a video a while ago, so we'll just tackle it one step at a time. Alright, that's freed that up. I guess this can stay in there. Now back up top, it looks like this little plastic pin that's connected to the headlight is going into the wing itself. And it does look like there's another 10mm bolt here. So I think we have to take off the headlight just to loosen that, and then take this one off as well. That should allow us just to lift it just enough. There we go. We can pull this out. Perfect. This bolt needs to come off as well because it's a tight squeeze. It's probably easier to loosen it by hand. Get that up by hand now. Yeah, perfect. Now I do think that there is one more bolt under this little plastic. See if you can see it just there. So take that one off as well. Now if I remember correctly, this one doesn't have to be loosened all the way, just to make enough space so we can lift it up. Yeah, that seems about right. Right, so we've done the sides, top bolts are off. I think there's one in the door, sort of behind the door holding it in, but I think we'll save that one for last. I think there's one or two more bolts down to the bottom. So let's pull back some of the arch lining, and then I think we have to take off a little bit of the side skirt as well to access the bolt that's holding it at the bottom. Okay, so a couple Phillips heads. These three need to come out. I think these little push pins as well need to come out. Probably that one up there as well, just so we can pull this back to access the bolts that I think are just pushed in right through here. So this arch lining is held with just a few screws and clips, so I'm just peeling them off now. This is where I found something weird. Oh, these look like they're being glued on. I think someone's been here before. Look at that. That's all that silicone. What is that? What is going on? So that white tab has to be pushed out. And I think that'll sort of release the rocker panel side skirts. This was such a fiddly little clip to take out, but I'm just using some pliers and I finally managed to get it. Okay, finally managed to get that out. So that little white tab there was going through the hole, just where those needle nose pliers are coming through. So now that I've managed to pull this back, there is one more bolt, I think, just holding this bracket, this one here. It's like a L bracket and the bolt is just where the tip of my finger is. So I'm gonna take that one off next. There we go, got that bolt out. So the wing is definitely loosening up now. You can see that moving. I don't think we actually need to remove the side skirt at all. So I think it's just that white tab that's holding it there. We should be able to, I think once we remove the bolt that's holding it into the door, this thing should be ready to come out. So let's crack the door open and let's try and find that bolt. So it looks like there's one there and doesn't look like there's any others. So it might just be that last one. I'm in a bit of a time crunch. So it's now, okay, it's 10 to 3. Now I need to drop this off at the body shop before they close today. And they close at 4:30. So hopefully this is the last bolt. But let's just wait and see. Hopefully, last bolt out. There we go. There we go. One wing off. You see, that was a little dent there. It's quite a little one. So I do wonder, you know, from the back, if it just needs, yeah, I can feel just a slight bump. I don't know, maybe I should give it a go myself. But it's a very small one. Even though we've quite quickly made such good progress on this car, looking at it all stripped down again, it does make me feel like I'm taking a few steps backwards, but I know it's going to be worth it in the end. I've just arrived at the body shop and I'm going to drop off this bumper, and I've chosen to do it at Bumper Blunders. So I'm going to drop this off to Dom and the lads and let them get to work. So I just went to go pick up this bumper from the body shop and they have done such a good job. I'm so impressed. Let me show you guys what it looks like. Before we put it onto the car, we have to fit the wing that we took off because that had a bit of a clean up as well. And then we can fit the bumper, and then we're getting so close, we're almost there. So I'm trying to put the wing back in the reverse order that I took it off. So just sliding it into place and then bolting all the bolts back in, just one at a time, and then lining everything up just to make sure that all the panels fit properly. And then goes back on the indicator light. So now that the wing is on, next step is to put the front bumper. But before we put on the front bumper, we do need to give this car a good clean, and there is a reason why. Now, I'm by no means a car detailer. In fact, I actually hate cleaning cars. But the reason I had to clean this one is because the bumper was freshly painted. I didn't want to touch it with any soap or pressure washing it as well, at least until the paint fully cures. So I thought I'd give everything a good clean just before I managed to fit the bumper back on. And I have to say, I think I did a pretty good job. Now that the car is washed, we can finally put the bumper on. And oh, in this light, this metallic blue looks so good. So good. I can't wait to get this bumper on because this car is great. All right, let's get the bumper put on. Now, I can't wait to get this freshly painted bumper back onto the car because I've been waiting weeks for this moment. Now, I'm so proud with the progress that I've made in rebuilding this car. If you guys are too, I'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below. And to finish up the engine bay, I also picked up some engine covers because this car didn't come with any, just to neaten everything up and make it look showroom ready. And there we go. This car is nice and clean. It's almost finished. Just the last little bit. Let's put a license plate on, and this car is done. And there we go. This car is finally complete and I am over the moon with how good it looks. I mean, this car looks absolutely brilliant. Now, it was a big risk. It was quite a big gamble buying this car because the whole front end was missing and I actually didn't really know exactly why or what I was getting myself into. But I think the gamble paid off because let me tell you how much I spent on the car and everything else it cost to get it to this point. Now, I paid £4,492 for the car, and I did give myself quite a tight budget, about £3,000 to try and get this repaired. So we'll see if I made it under budget and if it was actually worthwhile rebuilding this. So it was £4,492 for the car. First thing I bought was the rad pack, so that cost £739. Then was the service, so it was £296. I actually had to do it twice, so that's why it's a bit more expensive. So if you want to see why, just click this link up here. Next up was the headlights with some brackets. That cost £391. Then was the bumper and all the grills, fog light surrounds. That came to a total of £454. And finally getting the car painted was £300. Now there's quite a few other little bits and pieces, documentation, some miscellaneous parts. So that came to a total of £176, which brings this total build to £6,847. So it's about 500 quid under the budget that I set myself. So I'm really pleased. And I actually just had a look on Auto Trader this morning. I couldn't find this exact car in this mileage, but they range from about 11 to 12,000 pounds. Now it is a Cat N, so yes, it will be a bit less, but I think we did quite well in rebuilding this. I think it was definitely worth the risk. I thought this car was finished. It was rebuilt, listed, buyer found, and they even paid for the MOT themselves. But then this happened. Let me take you back to how we got here. So I took a big risk buying this car from auction because the whole front end was missing and I wasn't really sure why. There was so many warning lights, but I didn't waste any time. I just started rebuilding this thing. So I picked up a rad pack and slam panel and got that fitted onto the car. And then I gave it a quick little service, but that didn't go exactly as planned. But then I started focusing on the cosmetic work, so I got some brand new headlights and got those fitted onto the car. Now, even though we were making such good headway, there was still so many warning lights and fault codes. So I got the bumper fitted and I was so happy to take it for its first drive, which went really well. Then it was just a quick trip to the body shop to get the new bumper painted, and then this car was listed for sale. I got a buyer who was super keen on getting this car, but they just wanted a fresh MOT. So I got one done, but unfortunately it failed. So the first reason it failed was because of this tire right here. There's a small little defect there. I don't think it's too bad, but we should be able to get that sorted quite quickly, so that should be okay. The second problem, which is a lot bigger, are the headlights. So I just spoke to Honda and I had to buy new headlights. I don't really have another choice. And it's really unfortunate because they are not cheap. So they cost, but there's nothing else I can do. I just gotta do it. So I'm gonna go pick them up tomorrow. Gutted. That's going to be a pricey repair. It's Thursday morning today. Buyer is expected to come on Saturday. So haven't got too much time to get all these problems fixed. And fingers crossed they still want to buy the car. So got a lot of work to do today. First off, we need to take these tires off, get them to the shop to get them replaced. And then we're going to crack on with the headlights. So let's get to it. So let's get these wheels off so we can load them into the car. Now that the tire's off, you can see this is the defect right there. Yeah. I guess it was deep enough, obviously, to fail, but hey ho, it's all right. Tires aren't too bad. So we're gonna load this into the car, take it over to the tire shop, and then we need to crack on with these headlights because the clock is ticking. Now on the other tire, I have noticed actually there is another gouge right here. So yeah, I think these are probably due a change. They did also comment on just a small little crease on the rim, but that was just a minor. That should be all right. Loaded in the trusty C-Class. Oh, there we go. So here we are. I've just arrived at the local tire shop. I'm gonna drop off the tires to get them replaced, but in the meantime, let's jump back and get these headlights sorted. So now, even though when I was rebuilding this car, I did buy brand new headlights from a UK company in the UK. I mean, granted, it was from Birmingham, so maybe there was a bit of a risk there. But these headlights are meant for cars that are on the left-hand drive, so whether it's UK or US spec, I'm not sure why they were selling it. But anyway, the beam pattern is completely off. So they tried to adjust it, it's just not working. So there's not really much else I can do. I've looked everywhere. So I had to bite the bullet and buy genuine, brand new LED headlights from So I had to buy genuine, brand new LED headlights from Honda. Gosh, that's a bit of a tongue twister. And they're not cheap. This actually cost me £1,500. So it's definitely eating into the profits. But there's not really much choice I have. Potentially got a buyer coming on Saturday. It has to pass MOT, which is booked tomorrow. So we just got to get this fixed. But hopefully, these brand new headlights should do the trick. But I have to say, they do look exactly the same. But maybe it's the modules or something that sort of changes it from left-hand to right-hand drive. But let's get these fitted. But before we do that, we got to take this bumper off so we can take the old headlights out. So let's get to it. So if you guys have seen any of the previous videos before, you'll know exactly how this bumper comes off. And it's not too tough. It's mostly just held in with some plastic clips and then a few screws and bolts around the place just to get this bumper off. But if you're new to the channel, now is a great time to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on future videos, and it really helps the channel out. And once I get all the hardware off, it's just a case of prying off the bumper from the clips, and eventually it manages to come off. We should be able to get this bad boy off. Yeah, look at that. Result. Now that we've taken the bumper off, I think we've made really good progress. It only took about 30 minutes, so hopefully the rest of this job goes quite smoothly as well. But next up, let's take off the old headlights, fit the new headlights, bumper back on, and then get it retested. Let's go. One headlight out. So I do need to transfer over this bracket onto the new one, but they look exactly the same. I just don't get it. So once the right side is off, it's just doing the exact same thing on the left, and looking at them side by side, I really can't tell what's the difference. If you guys know, please comment below. So once the old headlight is out, it's just a case of removing the bracket, which is held with 2 bolts, and putting it onto the new headlight so I can fit it back onto the car. And it's as easy as that. And of course, need to do the exact same thing on the other side too. Right, now that we got the headlights on, I think before we put the bumper on, we should probably check to make sure that they actually work. Let's see, it's super sunny, so I won't be able to check the beam pattern, but I bought them from Honda. It might need a little bit of tweaking, a bit of adjustment, but they should be the right ones. But let's just make sure that they work. Now, hopefully you can make it out on camera because it is so sunny today, but these headlights do look like they're working. And once I'm happy that the headlights are actually working, I just need to put the bumper back on, which is just in the reverse order of how I took it off. Just come back from picking up the tires, so let's get those fitted. Here they are in all their glory. There we go, everything's fixed. The retest is tomorrow morning. Now, the buyer is expected to come on Saturday. I'm hoping that it does pass because I've had to fork out an extra £1,750 on this on top of what I've already paid. So I'm really hoping that it passes tomorrow, but let's wait and see. Here we go, it's the morning of, just about to head over to the MOT. And the wait begins, just waiting. Let's see, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Now it's quite handy, but a bit nerve-wracking having the screen to be able to see the MOT testers doing the retest. For anyone who doesn't know, an MOT is an inspection you have to have done on your car every year for cars that are 3 years or older, just to make sure that they're safe to be on the road. Now, because this is a retest, they're only checking over the things that made the car fail, and it looks like they're using this device, I'm not really sure what it's called, to check the beam pattern on the headlights, and it looks like they're having to do some adjustments too. Now, that's not too concerning because they are brand new, but they have to do them on the other side as well. Let's hope it passes.
What's the verdict?
So before I tell you the result of the MOT retest, I did have a buyer lined up to pick up this car tomorrow morning. So they're the ones who actually paid for the MOT, and it did fail because of the headlights and the tires. And I did spend a lot of time and money this week, more than I would have liked, getting it all fixed. But they just messaged to say that they're not interested in coming to look at the car anymore. It's a bit unfortunate, but these things happen. So we'll be relisted up for sale. So if any of you guys are interested in picking up, reasonably priced, perfectly repaired 2018 Honda Civic, just let me know. But it's not all doom and gloom, because the good thing is it did pass its MOT. So at least this car is now perfectly safe to go back onto the road, and I think it's a really good result that we managed to get this far. It did take a little bit more time and money than I would have liked, but I think there's still a little bit of meat left on the bone. That's it for now, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.